Hi, and welcome to Movies Suck. Well, it's that time of year again. Gonna have a Doctor Who special, probably. But you know what? It's still the same Doctor Who. Oh, God. Have they not learned anything yet? They brought them back again. Brought her back again. It just goes to show that these days, the BBC doesn't really care about the fans. If the BBC really cared about the fans, they'd have made an effort and made a decent version of the War of the Worlds, rather than, well, doing what they did. My review is back there somewhere in my old videos, check it out. But this new Doctor Who, I don't want to talk about Doctor Who really. Let's just read what it says here, and do I want to talk about Doctor Who? Man, it's a tough one. I didn't really think we were going to get to the point. Well, I guess they couldn't not make this series. What with having a female Doctor Who, because that's all that matters. Female Doctor Who, misandry. That's what we need. Bit of misandry here on the BBC. But let's read what this stupid story says. So, Jodie Whittaker's New Year's message as Doctor Who returns. Don't lose hope. We lost hope a long time ago for Doctor Who. It's over, Jodie. You ruined it. You and that crappy writer anyway. So, Jodie Whittaker takes inspiration from young climate change protesters and asks us to open our ears and our hearts as Doctor Who kicks off the new decade on BBC One. Sorry, I nearly swore again then. It's like Star Wars. When I talk about Star Wars, I start swearing. I just can't stop it. God damn you, Disney. I talk about Doctor Who, and it comes back again. You know, in my normal life, I hardly ever swear. I just get really infuriated by really stupid crap. So, here in the big issue, apparently they've got a really big story coming out with all of these different things in it. Yay. What a great interview this will be. So, Doctor Who returns to our screens on the first day of the 2020s, and Jodie Whittaker has spoken exclusively to the big issue about her hopes and dreams for the new year and the new decade. Does this sound wishy-washy lefty crap to you already? It sounds pathetic. Oh, the new decade. Oh, look to the future. It's only just begun. Sorry, that was way out of tune. I do apologise. What we should do going forward, and what I feel like I need reminding to do, is take huge inspiration from the groups of young people who are putting their voices out there and articulating what we grown-ups can't, she says in her New Year's edition of the magazine. So, young people moaning about the fact that we, as grown-ups, should do what? What? Get on with our lives? What are they moaning about? Young people are always moaning. That's called being teenagers. That's all they do. I'm sorry to any of you young teenagers out there who don't go around moaning about all this crap and being all self-centered and caring only about yourself. But there's a massive leftist number. It's not a majority, not by a long way, but a massive leftist vocal number who are perfectly happy to go out there and moan and ruin your day. Because, well, you're a fucking fascist if you don't agree with them. What we should do going forward, and what I feel like I need reminding to do, is take huge inspiration from the groups of young people who are putting their voices out there and articulating what we grown-ups can't, she says in our New Year edition of the magazine. We have Greta Thunberg putting herself at risk of criticism to say what needs to be said to move us forward. And we as grown-ups can take inspiration from a united massing of non-violent protest and voice. It's inspiring. Okay, so we have Greta Thunberg putting herself at risk of criticism. No, we have an actor father and I've forgotten what her mother does, a singer or something. A bunch of entertainment people who are obviously going to be leftists because they're in the entertainment industry, pushing their daughter forward and filling her head full of nonsense and putting her at serious risk. The girl has various mental issues and they're putting her at great risk. She is really suffering. She stopped eating for something like 3 months or something crazy, because her parents are trying to ruin her life. This is a girl who is probably going to commit suicide before she's 20. And that's a really sad and horrible thing to say. It worries the fuck out of me. Sorry. It worries the hell out of me that her parents, would be doing this to her. I mean, what kind of parents are these? It's just despicable. And all these sycophants around the world gathering behind the latest poor young thing who's been forced into this position by a load of careful manipulation. It's really, really sickening. This poor girl should be having a normal, decent life, getting on with things, being your average teenager. But no. I mean, she believes that she can't do those things because of climate change, something that none of us have any control over. We can all do our little bit, but until China and India have someone controlling them, then there's not much we can do. And I would have a lot more respect for her and her parents if they fucked off from Europe and went and complained to China or India about these problems, people who are actually causing them these days. If she wants to time travel back to the start of the Industrial Revolution and then complain at them, although we wouldn't be at the point we're at if it wasn't for that, if she wants things like washing machines and all the other modern conveniences, the Industrial Revolution has to happen. All these things have to happen to get us to the point where we are now, where we can actually start caring about these things and attempting to dial things back a bit. But no matter what we do in Europe, it pales in comparison to the problems with China and India. There really is almost nothing we can do, especially here in England. There's virtually nothing we can do. And she got Time Magazine's Person of the Year. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm sorry, what? There are people that have actually done something real in the world, not just larped on about something that probably doesn't have any relation to people whatsoever. I believe we just came out of a serious ice age. And what happens when you come out of an ice age? What happens if you get something frozen, take it out the freezer, leave it on the side for a while? That's right. It starts to thaw out. It defrosts, it warms up. And we just came out of an ice age. I wonder what's going on here. Yeah, we're bound to start warming up. It can't be helped. So, really, just shut up, Jodie. This is just nonsense leftist drivel. Let's have a look at the next bit of drivel. As someone who time travels on television for a living, and does it better than ever, judging by the electrifying New Year's Day episode Spyfall, Part 1, Whittaker offers a unique perspective on the new year. She says, however deflated we feel throughout history, people have come together and got over massive hurdles, but the one we potentially can't get over is climate change. So how can our generation think we shouldn't be listening to the next one? I mean, they're the ones who have to deal with all this. Oh, well done, Jodie. Oh, could you make your political position any clearer? Is there nothing you want to say about trans rights being human rights and, trans men being absolutely men? And trans women being absolutely being women. If you're a man who wants to be a woman, you can call yourself a woman and beat the shit out of women in the MMA. Because you said you were one. I mean, what retardation is this? She, I believe, I don't know exactly how old she is, I think she's something like 36 or 37. Does she think she's going to pop her clogs within the next couple of years? And that she's not going to have to try and deal with whatever comes next? Because I have a bit of news for her. The average life expectancy of a woman in Great Britain is somewhere in the region of 82 years old. That's just the average. So it's very likely she's going to be here for another 50 years. She might just have to try and deal with what's coming. And as for the rest of us, adults, considering you're an adult from the age of 18, you're going to have to deal with this too. It's not only children between the ages of 10 and 18 who are going to have to deal with these issues. It's all of us. And if you're 80 years old, maybe you've only got 10 years left to live. Does that make your voice less relevant? No, fuck these leftist wankers. Stupid, stupid woman. I don't believe you shouldn't listen to children, but children don't know a hell of a lot. They haven't had enough experience to know a hell of a lot. They just like to think they do. And then you throw a real situation in front of them and they don't know how to deal with it. Your car's broken down? The average adult Well, let's check the electric system. What, the electric system's fine? Well, let's have a look at the fuel system. Fuel system's fine? Might need a bit more in-depth work here. But if you've never been taught to check any of these things, you just don't know. This is experience. Life experience teaches you how to do these things. And if you don't have it, you can't do it. You are never too old or young to give advice, so you need to be able to receive it from any age group. The new year needs to be open ears and open hearts. Don't lose hope. I admit you're never too young or old to give advice. Your advice might be some really dumb crap, and I have to admit that I will pay more attention to an older person's advice than a young person's, dependent on the age, because a younger person who's 40 and an older person that's 80 might both have very, very, very useful information for you. A younger person who's 10 and an older person who's 20, both of those bits of information are probably going to be a bit dodgy. Not absolutely, no way, but not likely to be as good as an 80-year-old and a 40-year-old. Whittaker also explains how she takes inspiration from her television alter ego and how she feels fully at home in the TARDIS as her second full series begins. Yeah, okay. What's so incredible about playing the Doctor is that fearlessness, she says. Knowing the outcome could be devastating, but doing it anyway. Swimming out and not saving anything for the swim back. That is really extraordinary. That reminds me of a film. What was that? She takes inspiration from her television alter ego because she's fearless and wants children to tell her how to live her life. I feel like I've been accepted as the Doctor, Whittaker continues. There was a pressure. If I'd been a guy in this role, I'd have only been representing my own casting as an individual. But it felt like I could hold people back if nobody liked what I brought to the Doctor. Hang on a second. If I'd been a guy in this role, I'd have only been representing my own casting as an individual. What the hell is that supposed to mean? So, as a woman, she's representing all women. She does realise that women have been in movies, in television, since movies and television began. She's not doing anything new, apart from playing a specific character. That's the only new thing she's doing here. And she's only representing herself in this character. This isn't all women, just like a guy being in that character isn't all guys. It's just a job and it's just a role, and it's ruining what was a very good program. I don't see why they want to keep gender swapping people. It's just ridiculous. In a wide-ranging interview, the gender question is now going away. Hopefully it won't make the news next time. It's going to make the news in the fan circles because it's ridiculous and you're ruining things. Maybe it's going to be better this time. Who knows? I'm not going to find out because I'm not going to watch it. In a wide-ranging interview, the 37-year-old star reveals how there may be dark times ahead for the Doctor as she experiences more horrors and further heartbreaks. We're all fucking experiencing those horrors and heartbreaks because you're still doing the fucking Doctor. If you actually stop, maybe we can all get over this and move on to a brighter future once this is not being ruined by leftist tosspots. The new series is a huge learning curve, but I can't tell you how. And this isn't my last season, so there's no point cramming every single side of the entire character into every episode. We're not in a rush because we hand these shoes on. For me, it's transition through this universe. It's an epic journey. Oh god. You mean they've already hired her for another season? Screw this. This is Movie Sucks signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments. I would like to know. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.